So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
I just want to find 11,780 votes. Just enough to overturn the Georgia 2020 election results. That was the now notorious January 2021 phone call between President Donald Trump and Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. It is also a central part of the sprawling election conspiracy case brought by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. But today, that case got a little less sprawling when Judge Scott McAfee dismissed 6 of its 41 counts, citing lack of detail. And one of those counts is the one that specifically calls out Trump and his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, for that January 2nd call to Brad Raffensperger. Now, this doesn't mean that Trump is out of the woods, legally speaking. 35 of those 41 criminal counts are very much intact. But all of this is happening as we await Judge McAfee's ruling on whether or not D.A. Willis will be disqualified from her own case. And the judge has said that he hopes to rule on that matter by Friday. MSNBC legal analyst Melissa Redmond joins me now. She's a former Fulton County Deputy District Attorney and a professor at the University of Georgia School of Law. Melissa, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am really eager to get your professional opinion on whether these charges, these counts, seemed overly broad or lacking definition in your mind when they were first charged. Does McAfee's dismissal seem unusual to you?
Well, it is a bit unusual in that although special demurrals are filed very often in criminal cases, they are rarely granted. And so basically the defense has to show that the crime has not been alleged with enough specificity for them to be put on notice of what they have to defend against. And so for these 6 offenses, all of which involved solicitation of violation of the oath of office by a public official, there's not enough information in the oath for the state to allege how the particular conduct violated a particular term of the oath. So different public officials in Georgia have different oaths. So some are more specific than others. And it's just so happened that the oath taken by the House of the representatives and the senators in Georgia, as well as the governor and the secretary of state, is very broad. And it just alleges that you will support the Constitution of the state and the state of Georgia, which means that of all of the terms and all of the clauses and articles in each of those constitutions, the state would have to show or put in the indictment which one of those, asking for the electors, I guess, alternate slate of electors to be appointed, or for these votes to be found, which one of those clauses that conduct violated, such that these people were being asked to violate their terms of their oath of office. So it's a little specific.
Yeah. You know far more about this than me, but it just seems like upholding the state constitution would prevent election fraud, right? Asking someone to find the votes to overturn the results of the election seems like a violation, asking that person to violate their oath of office. But I am not a lawyer, and I have never worked for the state of Georgia, so I understand that there are some legal underpinnings to all of that. I do wonder if you think, D.A. Willis is tenacious, like few other people on the national stage. And I wonder if you think she's going to let these go in the name of keeping this case, already delayed and waylaid to some degree, on track, or whether she's going to fight McAfee on this and sort of take another turn at these charges.
I think it will depend on the evidence they have. And of course, we don't have a full copy of the discovery that's been provided to the defense, because that's some of the arguments that you can kind of tell from the discovery that's been provided and the evidence that the state intends to use how that oath was violated. So the defense is on notice, but they would have to actually allege that in the indictment. And whether she would be able to do that would govern her decision of whether to appeal Judge McAfee, who has indicated in his order that if she asked for a certificate of immediate review, he would be inclined to grant it. However, the thing about RICO that prosecutors love and defense attorneys hate is that you really don't need those counts for this indictment to say, and for her to proceed on the exact same case without proving those substantive offenses. So I actually don't think she will appeal. I think she may just be willing to let those counts go and just move forward with the RICO and using that conduct as overt acts. And she still will be allowed to do that.
Yeah, the sort of substance and the power of that broader case remains very much intact. Trump is not out of legal hot water by any stretch of the imagination. But then there's this sort of looming question that we're supposed to get resolution to on Friday, which is, does DA Fani Willis stay on this case? Do you read anything? I know judges aren't supposed to be political. Everybody tells me that all the time. But it seems clear that politics is very much on the horizon here. And I wonder if you read anything into Judge McAfee's decision to sort of give a few points to Trump, if you will, on the dismissal of these counts, with the expectation that he may be handing a win to Fani Willis on Friday by allowing her to stay on the case. Do you see that? Is that me just wearing a tinfoil hat on all of this? Or could there be some legitimacy to that?
No, I don't think you can read anything at all into this, because if you think about how the case is playing out, all of the motions that have been filed, and they're kind of slowly working their way through hearing those motions. And this actually wasn't the only motion to dismiss. So there are other motions to dismiss various counts still pending that Judge McAfee still has to rule on. So it looks to me like he's just kind of methodically going through the case and the hearings that he's held, the supplemental briefs submitted by each party after the hearing, and issuing orders kind of as he gets to them. This particular motion was held, I want to say, a couple of weeks before the motion to disqualify. So it makes sense that he's kind of going through and issuing the orders as he gets to those motions. But I don't think we can tell one way or the other what that indicates as far as how he intends to rule on the motion to disqualify, other than I do believe that if he's willing to grant a certificate of immediate review for the special demurrers, that may indicate his willingness to have these issues resolved before the case goes to trial. So whichever way he rules on the motion to dismiss, perhaps he would also be willing to give either side a certificate of immediate review, which will further delay the case. So I think the only thing we can read is that it is very unlikely that this case is going to be tried this year.
Melissa Redmond, keeping me in line and giving us the hard truth about what is happening down in Fulton County. Thank you so much for your time and wisdom tonight. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Makes you feel any better. I have already put evac on alert. He's ready to go if it comes to that. General, I can assure you.
Hey, General, let me into the war room to see you, so I had to hack my way onto this frequency.
This better be critical, Wheelie.
Sir, come on, what is it now, please? Okay, couple of things. I'm running low on the dough. I was thinking about taking a couple of months sick leave, maybe starting today. And, oh yeah, I intercepted a transmission from Megatron.
Then send it through.
Yes, sir, right away, sir. And so I was so damn weird going on the other stuff.
This is your last warning, insects. Relinquish what remains of the Allspark.
So who's the insect? You? What? Who's the insect?
Protect you. They were defeated on our world, and we will defeat them here.
This was just a diversion. Security, please bring up. Rabbit, she's already inside. Deeds! Give me an update on that reserve. Boss readiness. What was his name?
Evac, sir.
Right, evac.
She's right in front.
We are facing a heavy, sustained attack. They appear to be after the Allspark aircraft. General! General! Need to evac immediately, General. Evac immediately. Hold on. National security advisory. Stay down. Check it out. Failed the mission celebration. The amateurs for suicide mission.